Hi, Dave Snyder here. It is July the 1st, 2012, excuse me. And I was just making a video and had a little problem with my mouse, so I'm stuck in the middle of a bunch of stuff here. Okay, let's see if it works this time. So, South America. I start the video off with this one because this is the most important one that I've found so far, I believe. It's the most visible, clear proof that this is the Mare Orientale crater on the moon. It's a multi-ring crater on the side of the moon that we do not see. Okay, it's multi-ring. It looks like it's hit something multiple times. Okay, because I believe it has. So what I did is I reversed that image, and I know it's huge, but that's just because they don't tell you the right size of the moon. Everybody just believes what they're told. Scientists have taken just about everybody's common sense, because when you see something like this, your common sense should kick in and tell you that something happened here. Okay. Something took place. I pointed out before a bunch of times that I aligned this with my eye, didn't use any borders or anything like that when I aligned it. You can see the markings in South America. You can see something happen there. Okay, and then I turned the borders on the following evening, and this is what happens when you turn the borders on. Okay, now I got a 42-inch screen. I can see this clearly. This is so clear, and you can see how all the borders go around all the features of South America. All these lines, all the borders follow the lines. Okay, look, all this. They follow them, and here's this whole thing is Brazil, this whole crater, and it fits there perfectly. I mean, I've never moved it since I found that. I mean, that is right in place. So I use this one for newer impacts or newer things that I find to align those to confirm them. So I did this one about a month ago at least. This overlay about a month ago. So it's stayed in place ever since, and it will stay in place, and we'll use it later to confirm some things, I think. Okay, so here's another one in South America, which is right here, which is another one that really can't be denied because it's the exact same shape as South America. You got this line that comes down in South America. Here, let me show you. Okay, in South America, you got this line that comes down right here. Okay, and it comes to this point. There's a point right here, and it comes down again to this point, and it comes down again. Okay, well, it's the same thing in this crater. You see the line that comes down. It comes to a obvious point right there, and then it comes back down to this point and straight back down, and you can see all the rest of the features in the land. You can see, look at that, it's there. So, and you can see the sweep. Look at the sweep to the side. Look at this. See the sweep? You don't get that. You don't get that many coincidences. I'm sorry, but there's just not that many that you're allowed to have, really. I mean, I hope my mouse doesn't just keep doing this, pissing me off. All right, yeah, it's going to keep doing it, isn't it? All right. So, anyways, that's pretty good evidence right there, if you ask me. I mean, you can see everything falls right into place. You look at some kind of feature on the moon, and it'll be right there. The same thing on the Earth. You'll see the same things, the same features. See that right there? That little center right there. Would be the center of that crater right there. You can see it. You can see all this up here. Okay, moving on. Since I've already showed this a bunch of times, I want to show you something new that I discovered the other day. As I was watching a video on this channel, doing something for good, pretty good channel, really good channel, very organized. I definitely subscribe to it. And I was watching his geology playlist, which had something about the New Madrid seismic zone with all the fracking and all the fractures, and it had it had this map that came up on the video of the fractures where they do all the fracking in this area, all in the United States, and I got that map overlaid over the United States right down here. You have to bear with me, I got a lot of stuff here. Okay, gas map. Okay, now I got it lined up as good as I could over the United States, because what happens is I get this side lined up, and then this doesn't fit. I can't get that to go right over. See how that is? The Great Lakes don't line up right. And I get the western United States line up pretty good, so anyways, it doesn't really matter if I got it perfectly lined anyways, because what I got is some overlays that I did months ago. Okay, when I saw this map, when I first seen the map on that video, I knew right away what created these fractures. I could see it. Look at I just showed you the Mare Orientale crater in South America, right? And you can see already, once you use that in your mind, you can see this is the same shape. And it's probably created from the same thing. And I got these impacts right here. Okay, you can see here. Look at it. Follow the western coast of the United States. You can see what pushes up the Rockies. You can see that this Let me just take the gas map down first and just show you these overlays here first. Okay, look at the shape of North America right there. Look at over here where it comes down and it has this corner here, comes around. It fits so perfect in there. It's another one that really, you know, I wish we had some borders in here we could use to show, but they're just too square borders in the United States, so it doesn't really work. But there you go. That shapes that. Okay, now let me turn the gas map back on and see. See how some of these fracture areas line right up in. This is just one impact, so they're not all going to fit perfectly in this one, but they do fit pretty well. And you can see Lake Michigan right there, and you can see what shapes Lake Superior. I think. I mean that's the shape of it. Even though it's not lined up on the map perfectly, it's still right there. You can see it. You can see all this inside of there. And here, let me turn on another one. Let me do another one here. Here goes another one. Okay, this is another one. Bring the gas map back on top, and you can see. Look at it. Follows this line. Follows the line. It's from that. And then what I discovered, another thing I discovered yesterday is I accidentally hit the weather button yesterday, and the weather patterns follow the lines on these craters right here that I got over the moon. Blew me away. I accidentally hit that button right there, and you can see that it follows. These follow the lines on this crater. Watch. Turn the gas map off. A lot of times, like this one always goes through like this, and you can see there's like these areas on that crater. Let me get the weather up here so I can fade it in and out. You see that spot right there on the moon? Oh, look at that. Right there on that crater, you can see a spot right there where that storm is, or that weather. Look at that. It's the same shape as you see right there in that crater. And you see the same line over here. See this line that comes over here? I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a line on the crater that comes across right there, and you can see. Oh my God! I must throw this mouse through the wall. All right, you can see that. You see how this all curls up right here, and you can see the same shape on the moon right there. The weather patterns follow these impact, the impact texture of the Earth. I guess I don't know. Let me show you another one. Hold on, another one. Yesterday there was some really good stuff that I could see in here, but it was really good. But you can still see it. I know this mouse is driving me nuts. I don't want that. Okay, there we go. At least something's working for a minute here. Okay, this is what I want to turn off. But you can see how this follows the same pattern. It starts at this edge and it stops at this edge, and it follows the same pattern. Yesterday there was a lot better weather on here to show you that, and I'm sure there will be better ones in the future too when I turn on the weather, and it'll really be following that pattern. And then after that I was actually able to find a new one by looking at the weather patterns by going like this. I just let the weather on, and I looked for more circular areas that are created on the land by the weather, and I saw one up here in Siberia right here. Look at this. See this? Right here, this area right here, and what I did is I saw that, and I lined up the crater to that shape right there, and let me see, I got it down here at the bottom here, and I thought I titled it, but apparently it didn't stick. Man, why does it do that? Oh man, did it even save it how I saved it? Yeah, it did. Okay, now you see that I lined that up to those clouds basically. I lined it up to the clouds. And it just the way I see, that it fit into the clouds, and you can see it does still fit into and that was, last night I put this down, and then this morning I adjusted it, but then you turn the weather off, and I didn't even click on it yet, and it turned it off. Thank you. This mouse is really messed up. Okay. And we can see there's some similarities to that right there. You can see up here, this line here, up there in Siberia, where that line is right there, and you can see this pattern that comes out. There's a line here and a line here that fills this area in like a square shape. And this, oh man, I'll try and stay calm. But you see the circular shape. There's a circular shape there, absolute circular shape right there. Okay, and what do we have in Siberia? We all know that there's been a million-year eruption from an eruption, not necessarily a volcano created by a moon impact. I know it sounds like everybody thinks that if the moon hit the Earth, it would destroy the Earth, it would destroy the moon. No, and nobody knows. Everybody always says it like they know it, and they don't know it. You don't know it. You don't. So, when you say that it would destroy, you don't know what you're talking about. Nobody does. Okay? I mean, there's probably a few scientists that absolutely know, because they know this already. They already know that the moon's hit the Earth. Trust me, I've seen their roadblocks. I've seen where they try to hide things. Trust me, I've been doing this for a while. And this one here, I'm not saying it's for sure, but I lined it up by the weather patterns, and you can see that it absolutely has some similarities there. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I'm going to say it does share some similarities, some similar shapes in the features of this crater and that area of the Earth. That's all I'm going to say on that one. I mean, I got other ones that line up. You can see something happened there in Siberia. We know it, and I mean, we know it. There's more lava there. There's 50,000 times more lava there than there is in Hawaii. Okay, so there was a million-year eruption. They said it was an extinction level event, and I believe it was created by the moon cycle hitting the Earth. There's a moon cycle. Okay, that's not the only crater that hits the Earth. That's the crater that used to hit the Earth. Okay, the mine calendar is a picture of the Mare Orientale crater. They used to see that when they looked at the moon. I believe somebody did. I don't know if it was the Mayans or not, but somebody did see it, or someone's playing games with us to make some of us believe that they've seen it. I don't know, but it used to hit the Earth, and then it got knocked off of its cycle. It used to repeatedly hit the Earth. Every time when the moon, like, it's in our magnetic field, right? The moon is within our magnetic field. It crosses through it, the tail of it all the time. Okay? And it becomes energized by the sun. When the moon is full, the sun is energizing the moon into some kind of. It doesn't have to have a strong magnetic field, because when it gets charged like that, it gives it an electromagnetic field, or whatever they call that. Okay, so when the poles reverse on the Earth, and it's a pole reversal. I'm not saying a pole shift. I'm talking about when the poles flip. Okay, when they reverse, the plus becomes minus, minus becomes plus. Okay, when that happens, that's when I think you know how magnets work. That when they're the same pole, they push away. Okay, that's the moon moves away. That supposedly right now the moon's, I don't think it's so much moving away anymore. But anyways, when the poles are opposites attract. Okay, that's how magnetism works. Okay, so you got these two big, large bodies in the sky, right? That are both giant magnets. And we know that the moon is within our magnetic field. And when my theory is when the poles reverse on the Earth, that's what brings the moon to hit the Earth. And I don't know how it hits. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know how it bounces away or whatever. I don't know if it stays there for a long time. I have no idea. Nobody does. Well, maybe somebody does, but I don't. All I see is the evidence showing that it hits, and it's all over the place. And like I said, the weather patterns even show it as well. I mean, I even tried one over this Jackson impact that I did a long time ago. This is a really old alignment, and it's a Google Moon picture, and it's really not too detailed of a picture. That's why you look at the moon on Google Moon. Here, this is how you'll know. Look, this is how you'll know. Right here. It takes a second. My computer's really, I don't know what it is, bogged down with a bunch of stuff or something. Here we go. I mean, this right here should tell you something. I mean, it doesn't tell me a whole lot, but it tells me enough. I mean, I've seen the rest of the way that they try to hide things. It used to be Google Earth used to have all them pixels in it. Those were all hiding geologic formations that are clearly on the moon and on the Earth, and you would be able to match it up perfectly without those pixels in there. Come on. Now it's not responding. See that? Here we go. Anyways, let me turn off whatever that overlay that's on there. Okay, so what they give you when you look at the moon? Oh, that looks just great. That's great. Google Moon. Yeah, okay. You look at it, but you get no detail. There's no detail here. You see a bunch of fuzzy, a little bit, but then you got this strip. They give you this one strip. Well, yeah, they give you a good detail on that strip right there. You can get in there and see exactly how everything is. Exactly. All those little pock marks, little craters, whatever you want to call them, you can see them real clear. Only in this strip. Only in this strip right here. Otherwise, you get the rest of it is nothing. And they have those. So why give you a strip and not the rest? That there's a reason, because they don't want you to be able to line up things perfectly with the Earth. And I'm telling you, that's true. And this is the side that faces the Earth now, right here. Okay, and this is the last side that hit the Earth. It's hit Copernicus, and I've aligned all this. This area is hit the Earth too, and then you got this is the Mare Orientale crater, and they say it's only this big. Look, you measure it on the moon, and it's only this big. 355 miles. Okay, sure. You look at what I just showed you on the Earth. Just the center is 1,000 miles, and the whole thing is 2,000 miles across. The same size. This crater is the size of the moon that they tell us the moon is. Swear to God. That crater is 2,000 miles across. The moon is bigger than they say. If these alignments are correct, and I do believe they are, because they all tie themselves together, and I'm going to show you how they do that again in a bunch of different ways. Every time I connect things together, they just seem to connect all on their own. I bring back an overlay that I had in place for months, and then I'll bring that back with the new one, and it'll just line right up, and I won't know it till I line it up. You'll see. Anyways, this has hit the Earth. This hits up in the Arctic, this area right here, and you can see it's a big giant impact. That hits in the Arctic right there. That shapes the Arctic. This is Iceland right here. This hits Iceland right there, and you can see the shape of the Arctic would be like this. The way it's backwards from the way we see it, but you see like this V shape here. That's the Arctic. This is Iceland, and it just goes there. Greenland's right in here somewhere. It's been a long time since I've done that, worked on that overlay, but it's still. You got all these other impacts. This is an old one too, I'm sure, because it's been covered. You can see that they get covered by the newer impacts. This is another one. I just got this one lined up in the Indian Ocean right here. This impact here, and this, like I said, this is Google Moon, no detail, no, they give you nothing. But the shape. This is exactly how you see the moon when you're standing on the ground and you look up at the moon with your eyes. That's exactly what you see. You don't get any detail in Google Moon. So that's the reason why that you don't. Because here's another one. This is Mare Orientale. This hits right next to Australia. That's why they call it Mare Orientale. Okay, it hits right in the south coast of Australia, and in part this Humboldt crater would be in Australia, on the land in Australia right there. It is. Okay, Tycho also hits in Australia. Tycho's go down here. Right there. Tycho hits in Australia. I mean, these all hit the Earth. These are all impacts from a cycle that hits the Earth. Now, like I said, this one used to hit the Earth many times. It's hit multiple times. You can see it's a multi-ring crater. And they only show like 2 rings in this picture on Google Earth. But it's hit the Earth multiple times. And look at this is the true size of the crater. Look at this is the true size. The whole side of the moon right here. Not just this what you see here. This whole thing is the impact. Just like over here, the latest one, it's the whole thing is the impact. This whole thing. And all the debris from this impact covers the rest of the old impacts. You can see how this one's almost all the way covered, but it's on the back side of that one, so it doesn't get as covered as much as these ones do. Okay, so that's the way I see that happens. The debris covers the older impacts, and you can see how that works. There's one, and it's almost all the way covered. This one is slightly covered because it's off to, it's just slightly covered. But these ones here are the newer ones. The dark areas are definitely the newer ones, and I've lined all of these up. I've been doing this for a while. And they all tie themselves together. I mean, I'll take one impact that I've worked on and bring it back to one I worked on months ago, and it keys right in. It ties it right in. So, I mean, there's something to this anyway. It needs to be looked into. I'll show you some more on the Earth, more overlays, and you'll see. You'll see what I mean. South America is a no-brainer. I mean, that one right there is just so in our face. That one that I showed you. Now I'm going to build off that. I'm going to put China over the top of this here. China. 2. Okay, and I know people don't want to believe that the continents were over the top of each other or layered at one time either, but we really have no choice to believe it, because when you take China's or Asia per se, okay, take Asia and you put it over South America and it fits like this, you really can't get around that. That fits there, and you can see it. And then when I bring back, look right here. See this big circular area right here? Okay, well, let's just bring that one moon crater back in South America that I showed you earlier. There it is. And you see how this has been in place. I didn't move this. All I did was add China to the South America, aligned it how I thought it fit best. Bring this crater back up, and look, it fits right in there. I didn't adjust it to do that. It just does. It just fits. All on its own. And there's many more. I got 1, 2. You see all these numbers. Okay, those are all in South America. And they all line up in Asia as well. You can see this one. There's the one we just looked that I just aligned. I think in up there. See, it's a little off from the way I had it. Actually, it's not really off at all. It's the same way I lined it up. But see, when I line it up in Siberia, it starts to twist the picture and shrink down one side because see how it's doing it here. Shrinks the picture's not square. It shrinks it down when you get towards the poles. It starts to tweak the picture out. So, but there you go. There's Siberia. As I put these South American ones, see, I'm building it here in South America, but it happened over there where all the subduction is. This is where it all happened. This is where it all happened right here. But now I'm building it over here because it's easy to build off South America. Because it just is. I found that it shows all these impacts, and then when I add to it, it puts it all together. So here's one in China and Siberia, and in South America, and Africa would be here too. Here's Africa. Oh, right here. Is this it? Yeah. No, come on. Okay, so here's Africa involved in the same impact. Look at that. See the ring? You see this ring right here? That's part of the impact. You can see that it all fits in there. There's this round shape here. It's got the same round shape there in Africa. And it's pretty well. This one's pretty well aligned. You can see these curves right here that on the moon. You can see the same thing in Africa. See that? Come on. Now you can see it. Basically, this Mare Orientale crater shapes every continent. Every continent. It shapes every continent. It hits every continent during the supercontinent. Like I said, this would be the supercontinent, as it would have been. Let me turn this one off here. Okay, let me just turn on one country at a time. We'll just do Africa first. And we'll just put that up against South America. This is the way. Now look, they say that South America was just like broke off, like this edge right here fits perfectly into this edge right here. Well, that's bullshit. Come on, you can see when you do the overlay, you put one or the other over the other, okay, and this is how it actually goes. This is how it broke off, okay? It didn't break off the way that, that's ridiculous. You can see the features in the land. You can line them up. You see this line that comes down here, and you can see. I lined it up by using that crater. I didn't line it up by looking at it with the two countries together. I lined it up by using the crater, that crater. Otherwise, I would have never got as far as I've gotten on rebuilding the supercontinent. I used the absolute impacts to do that. Okay, now look, here's the first one I showed again, right in the middle, right there. You can see it involves both countries. Okay, and then you got the next one. And what do you think breaks the continent? What do you think builds these continents? I mean, look at this creates a super volcano that creates that erupts for 1 million years or whatever, and it creates the continents. It makes a big piece of land with the impact sized like this, and with the lava that would come out of something like that. It builds a continent like Siberia. Like I said, there's 50,000 times more lava there than there is in Hawaii. So it's bigger than the United States. Siberia is bigger than the United States. So that right there is a building of a continent, part of the Asian continent. That builds part of it. Okay, that impact. So this is a continent builder, a continent shaper. This crater hit a lot of times. Actually, it's getting to where I'm thinking maybe not as many times as I thought at first, because when you go to every continent, it fits. So you start to build up this number of impacts. It gets a little higher, but when you bring the continents together as a supercontinent, the number goes down because they turn out to be the same impact as the one in the other continent, like this one here that I'm showing you here. Okay, it's obviously the same one in Africa as it is in South America. You can see that impact. You can see that something right there took place, and you can even see the shape. Look at this shape in the center of this crater. It's the same shape you see that strip of land where they combine. Look at right here. This shape of land where they combine. That's the same shape as the center of that crater. You can barely see it, but it has that same shape. See the line comes down like this and round like this and back up like that. You can see that that's there. or I can anyways. It takes practice, like I said, and you see like the lines that come out the bottom, and you get all that lined up. But something's going on here. Either, you know, something's going on. And let me just put China back in the picture here. China back. Oh my goodness, China. Okay, China back in the picture. You can see that China hits there. So China was there. This Asia was there along with South America. The continents had to be layered. I don't know, the ocean levels were higher, whatever. I don't know. That's not my point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to point out what I see here. Okay, so you see this one big circular impact here in Asia, Siberia. That's that impact that you see in South America. Same thing right there. Okay, and you come up, and then we put the other one back, and then we got the, like I said, the number one again, right there. Hits China, or hits Russia, whatever. Hits Asia, and then it hits also in South America and also in Africa. Okay, and I got so much more, but this video would be way too long if I was to show it all. But let's just go for it. If you're still watching, you'll learn something. Okay, did I show the weather pattern thing in this one? I think I did. Okay, I got a new one here, another alignment in South America that I just did the other day, and it's called New South America, number 6. And this is another one that fits absolutely perfect. I can't see any way around it myself. You see the curve right here. See the curve. There's the curve, and you see these little features right here. You see that right there in place. Everything falls into place. And you come over here, you see this strip, this line, and then you see how it curves in like this. That is the same thing. That is another shaper of South America. It used to hit. I mean, you can see that. I know you can see that. I mean, look at that. So I know I'm onto something. I know this. Look at I'm pretty bright person. I mean, I know what I see, and I see. Watch this. Turn the borders on. Watch Central America when I turn the borders on this one, or whatever this is over here. Look at that curve. Look at the curve, and then look at all these things fit in here. And then just let me fade that in and out a little bit. See the curve? I didn't line that up using the borders. I lined that up by using basically this shape here and this line here, right here on the moon. And then I put the borders in there, and then look at that curve right there. It goes here. It absolutely does. So they got some overlapping impacts of the same crater hitting the Earth multiple times, and then you got all the other ones that you could find too that are a little bit more difficult to find, but they're actually, I found those a long time ago. The other ones. I just recently got this image, and I've gone so far with this image. Here, let me show you Hawaii. Same crater. And the thing is what another thing that may confuse. It confuses me a lot of times, is that the new impacts that hit the Earth after Mare Orientale, like they hit the same spot on the Earth, right? So it shapes those craters like the Mare Orientale. You'll see if you look real close, like this one I put over here the other day. I don't know if I titled it, but I put one here, and it's like a repeat of the Mare Orientale. They hit the same spot as Mare Orientale hit, and you can take Mare Orientale and put it right in the same spot, and they match. So I'll explain that later. It's too complicated at the very moment. Too early. Hawaii. Hawaiian Islands. Right here. Same crater. Same crater. There's Hawaii up here, where those two little dents are in the moon there. But then you see the line. You can see the line come down. There's a line here, and this line that goes up. Same shape. See how it fills in this little area here. It goes here. I mean, then you come over here, and you see these lines here, right there in the ocean. And look at how this little space. See how this little triangle shape fits right into place, right in that little curly Q there. And then you see the other curly Q right there, and you see how these lines are perfect. Look how the land gets cut off right here by this one. Look at that. Look at that. Because there's that little island, and you see the land that cuts it right off. You can see that. Comes up, curves around here, you can see that perfectly. And all these lines, then you can see the Aleutian Islands. Let me turn the borders on here. Okay? You see how they come around and attach right there. Look at that. See how that fits right in there? Look at that. That fits right in. There's a line. It goes right here. It shapes, and you can probably include North America in this impact, because there's North America, And North America, we can see, has been pushed over to that direction by looking at the ocean. Just use your common sense. Like I said in the beginning of the video, try to use your common sense on this. Believe what you see. That's what I'm saying. Believe what you see. Do the overlays, see what you see, and that's when you got it. That's what you should believe. Don't believe what the scientists say, because you've heard the term blinded by science. Okay? Well, that's a true thing. They say that for a reason. Because a lot of people are blinded by science. They refuse to accept anything else. And that's the problem with science. If you ask me, is that when a theory has had so much invested into it, like most of the theories on Earth, or that the scientists have, there's so much invested in it, so much time, that if there was a new theory to come out that would discredit the original theory, it would never see the light of day, because it would just discredit everything that they've ever said in the past, and it would make everything they said wrong. So that new one does not ever show. It never comes out. People will never accept it. It's just the way science is. It's the way I've come to see it, and it is that way. One guy is not going to discover this and then bring this out and ruin everything every other scientist has said, because they'd cast him out. He would be a cast out, or outcast, or whatever you call it. I mean, they would just discredit him and make him look stupid. And that's what they do, because they don't want everything that they've invested all their careers into to just disappear, and then it would make them everything they said wrong. And you got to understand that. I mean, another thing why that you don't know this is resources. When they first discovered this, it must have been when they first got satellites, right? Okay, well, this shows where all the resources on the planet are. This shows where everything is, and I'm not even going to go into the list. Believe me, it points out the riches on the Earth. It does. If you know how to do it, you'll see. I have hundreds of hours invested in this, hundreds, if not 1,000 hours at least, invested in this. Okay, so easily 1,000 hours. I know it's easily that. I mean, I put it all together a bunch of times. Greenland, all these impacts, they tie themselves together. Spend some time researching it. Reverse the moon, put it on the Earth, and I mean, the video's kind of long, so I'm going to cut it off there. Check weather patterns. Weather patterns are important to look at, because they go around all of these impacts. Here, let me just see, Hawaii's not too clear, but it is kind of, because there is this strip that goes right in the middle of this crater. You can see right here, and then how it all stops in one place right here. Watch. Now you can see how it follows the shape. Right over here, you can see this over here. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, you can see that too. It follows the shape. Look at this line right here. That's the same shape you see right. You can see the same shape right here. So it does follow the weather pattern. The weather patterns go around a lot of things where these impacts took place. You can see like this forks off right here and forks off there, and you can see the same thing right here. It takes practice looking at it, but you'll get it down. Okay, so that's it on that one. I have a lot more. Really, I do have a lot more. I was going to show some South America, how I put South America here and started building off that, but I'll do that on the next video. I just wanted to get a video out there to show some people, it's important to look into this. It really is. I think you're going to be amazed at what you see. I really do. And here, let me get this one back up here again. Let's see how if the weather patterns changed yet. See that? You see that shape of that cloud? Look at that. See the shape of that cloud and how it comes down? Now look at the moon right there. You understand what I'm saying? You see that? And there's the jet stream that comes across. Okay, well, we can see there's kind of a sweep in the moon that's the same right there. Look, it comes down and kind of sweeps along this line. You see that line? Okay, well, look. And you see how it fits into this little area here. It kind of just surrounds this area here. You can see that. The weather patterns, oh, here we go. It came back. Cool. This like shape right here, you can see that clearly. See how they holding these little patterns in here in certain spots. They hold the pattern. Look at that right there. You can see that same thing. See that area on the moon is right there. I mean, you could think it's coincidence, but I'm telling you, it is not. Look at that shape. Look at the shape of that cloud. And then look at the moon right there. Comes straight down. Same shape right there as the cloud. Look at that. And then you see this come right around up here. That comes around this big area here that you see. Look at that. It comes to a point. It holds it. it shaped the weather patterns as well as the planet. All right, it does. Here's another one. Let me see if it does anything with this one too. Oh, look at that. Something there for sure. See how the storms all stop at the line, or the weather stops right at this line and curves the same shape as that crater. Same shape. It definitely has something to do with the weather patterns. Has something to do with it. I just noticed that last night by accident. There's something to it. Something to it. And that little storm, look at this right here, that little storm is right there. Not a storm, but the clouds are. See how they build up right there, and look how they go around this area here. I mean, there's something to that. So I'll end the video there. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, I showed you the fracking map, right? The gas map. Let's see. Yeah, it's where all the fracking is in the country. You can see how they hold the same pattern pretty much as that moon crater right there, and then there's another one here, this one here as well. Put the map over the top again. You see that one, how that one holds the same pattern, and there's another one too, but I'm going to go ahead and end it on that note. Just look into it. I mean, you won't be sorry that you did. I'm dead serious. Look, this stuff never interested me before, and never. I mean, before I noticed all that the moon, like what started it was how the Earth was made. The episode of how the Earth was made. That they never answered. They never give you a clear answer on how things are created. It's all plate tectonics and volcanism and erosion and all that, but they never tell you how everything actually gets here. They tell you that meteors rained out of the sky and created the Earth. No. I don't think so. That's not good enough. Then there would be land everywhere. You know, it wouldn't be like these big continents that come out of the ocean. There would not be that if the moon didn't hit the Earth to create the supervolcano like Yellowstone, like Siberia, like Iceland, all of them. So they would not be here if the supervolcanoes didn't create them. And you can see this was probably, Great Lakes was probably a big giant supervolcano right there. Wherever you see openings like this in the continents, usually that's what that is. Usually is. So anyways, that's where I'll end it. All right, have a good day.